Focusing on sports this time on Sunrise Daily and UEFA Champions League. Just matches played yesterday. Dapo Daramola joins us now again. Thank you for coming on today.
Always a pleasure, John.
Well, some interesting match. Starting off with yesterday at the San Siro, where AC Milan and Barcelona played out a goalless draw. In fact, it raises a lot of questions now. I mean, they are held now in UEFA Champions League at least, and people are thinking, wait a minute, if they could be held at San Siro, maybe at Nou Camp, you never know. So, is it open-ended now, or come on? I mean, at Nou Camp, Barcelona is going to be all over Milan.
It remains a very open game. A very, very open game. Because if you consider the fact that the number one thing we need to recognize is you look at the quality of chances Barcelona did not get. The quality of chances they did not, they didn't find in that game. It tells you that Massimo Allegri was tactically on top of his game. He ensured that, Xavi was not playing. He ensured Iniesta did not play. He ensured Messi did not play.
And that's midfield.
And that's the moment you keep all those guys out, it tells you, because that is the engine room of Barcelona. Okay? The moment those three are not playing, the moment you can put them in check, you don't have to contain them for the entire, but one thing is important, do not allow them to play their game. Frustrate them. And what I liked most in the game was the fact that they didn't just play Catenaccio, that is the ugly football, just pack the bus. No. As much as they were defending solidly, they had some very few chances that if the pitch had been favorable, because the pitch, I don't know what the conditions, what is where yesterday, but they were not, it was in a terrible shape. It was like when the Wembley Stadium was newly completed and the pitch, terribly bad. They had to do through, overhauling in 2 times. They have to overhaul. So it tells you that the pitch, was not in the best of condition, but at the same time, they had, some chances that if they had converted those chances, it tells you that they possibly would have had, not a goalless draw, but AC Milan winning the game yesterday. So for me, it's a big sign that coming to Nou Camp, it's not going to be a field day. I'm not saying that Barcelona may not be able to upturn the game, or turn the game around in their own favor, but it shows that if AC Milan can maintain that level of discipline, which is required, because that was what happened when Inter Milan, played a beautiful game at the San Siro, and then came down and did what was needful against Barcelona, and that's what got them into the final.
That's a different tactic.
So
an Italian team too.
Exactly. So that's why I said I'm sure Allegri must have seen such games and tell you he must have told the players, hey, listen, these guys, we can contain them, and don't forget they have met before. Okay, and
even pre-season, they also played.
So it tells you that having played them over and over, at this point they've known what to do. So I'm just saying that if they could maintain, the same level of discipline in the game, the second leg of this game, we might just be in for a shocker. Because everybody, the moment it was AC Milan Barcelona, people have, if our bookmakers have said, okay, likely Chelsea will edge, Benfica, and Chelsea were going to play Barcelona in the semi-final. The way it's turning out, it could just be Chelsea against AC Milan.
Or Benfica against Barcelona.
Well, I'm not saying the Benfica-Chelsea game is settled, but overall, if you look at the shape of the team, what is required of Chelsea is, we went to a fortress. Chelsea went to a fortress, and to have beaten them on their home soil, where they have not conceded in over 30 games, and they've not lost in a long time. It tells you, that Chelsea just needs to come back home, be disciplined enough, and that's, see, in the Champions League, one thing we have all come to agree is the fact that this is a different competition entirely, and you cannot afford lack of discipline. That is what costs you more.
All through the 90 minutes.
It has to be 100% concentration for the duration of the game. So you cannot afford to be to lose it for 1 minute. So if all Chelsea needs to do And I'm sure in that game we will have less of DJ Drogba, and it's going to be a whole new,
okay, but looking at this, I mean, Torres, he comes in and then just flicks that ball,
and he's beginning to pay off for the team because he's not back. Torres is not back in the real sense of it, but at least somehow there's this sense of urgency for him to prove a point. One, he's running against time as far as playing for Spain is concerned at the Euro 2012. Okay?
He needs to really up his game, man.
He needs to up his game because somehow he still has this kind of bleak chance of making it to
Villa is still out. David Villa.
That's what I'm saying. But don't forget, Fernando Llorente is in great shape. Fernando Llorente is in great shape for Bilbao, and there are some other guys who are doing well in Spain right now. So you have to weigh your options. And so at the moment, he's thinking that, okay, even if I'm not scoring goals, but overall for the team, I'm part of the team, and as a squad player, and I'm giving the supplies, pushing the passes and all that, it could just work in my favor.
Which wasn't there initially. He was doing a lot less of assists
because his confidence level was so low. I mean, he said that even the coach that left AVB didn't trust him much, but it seemed that the Mateo seemed to trust him more. He also is committing more, and so he's paying off for the entire team. But will I still prefer Torres to Drogba? I would say no, because at the moment Drogba brings more to the table. Drogba gives defenders the terrible situation or moments in the back of the defense. So I would still prefer Drogba, but on a day you have to give it to the coach. Nobody thought Kalu would make it ahead of Drogba. He did, and his gamble paid off. So overall, it's good when you are able to look at your team and say, okay, I need to rest some players, I need to bring some new guys on, rejig the team, and get results. And that's what he did against Benfica. And that's why I said, if you can just get the needed presence of mind, mentally speaking, know that, hey, don't, because that's what happened. I keep saying it in the finals between Chelsea and Man United when in Russia, and we all saw John Terry losing a penalty that could actually giving us the trophy for the first time. I think he had seen himself mentally, psychologically lifting the trophy, okay, and it was going to be a beautiful moment, the last kick.
So that distracted him.
So that, for me, that was the distraction because it was a poor penalty. You could see that he was already jubilating even before he put the ball into the net. So that's why I'm saying that at this point, if you can just maintain concentration, don't see yourself in the semi-final yet. Don't bother who you want to play, whether it's AC Milan or Barcelona, but rather finish the game on the day and then let the semi-final party begin.
So it looks as if it's the team that has the greatest of the concentration in this stage.
Absolutely.
Will go the whole hall.
Already some games are settled. I mean, we can say Real Madrid and
Bayern.
Real Madrid has qualified. Bayern Munich, I don't see myself scoring 3 goals and Bayern will not score. So, of course, it's settled. So those two have qualified, we can say. But definitely the other games, a lot of work needs to be done. So, that bottom line, there must be huge concentration. And as much as you can guarantee that, I guess, Chelsea, possibly AC Milan, will be going through.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at that Real game and Apoel, Real, but
it was a KG encounter. Yeah.
Do they have that concentration level in terms of going to
somehow, in the last about 2 games before the last one, when they mauled the team about the game against Villarreal, huge loss of concentration. The other game where they lost also, huge loss of concentration. It tells you that's what I'm saying. See, the more, because mentally these guys are getting tired. By the time you have played about 20-something games, playing a number of games in Europe, playing a lot of games in Copa del Rey, there's a time you begin to, you get fagged out. But what is important is for the coach equally to be able to say, okay, and you will notice that Mourinho suddenly is playing Nuri Sahin, who has not played for a long time. In fact, this is a player who has practically not featured for the team this season. But suddenly, Nuri Sahin is coming to the team because he understands that you need to rejig this team. You must bring in fresh legs. That's why you could see the youngster Tello also coming up for Barcelona. Okay, it tells you that it gets to a point. Having played so much of games, you just need to. It's natural.
It's human nature.
It's human nature. So just begin to. And that's why you have to, whether you like it or not, you must have a balanced squad. You cannot win trophies or play at this level with just a regular team. that, okay, your first 11 is settled. Or maybe you have 2-3 players who can break it. No. You must have a solid squad that can compete. Now, Chelsea is in the FA Cup, Chelsea in the Champions League, and Chelsea is still struggling to break into the top 4. So it tells you that they need so much of the team, not just some regular players, but you need the entire squad. You must rest some players. You must know when to rest these players. You must know how to psychologically prepare their minds. Okay, and you must get the best out of those who have not been playing before. Because if you look at Paulo Ferreira, he has lost that spot to Jose Bosingua and lost it to Ivanovic. But on the day the coach needed him to play, he gave almost 85. One of the best players on the pitch, for Chelsea on the night. So it tells you, look at Kalu. He put all his troubles behind him, okay, and came on the pitch with an open mind to the game, an open approach, and he was able to make something of the game. So you need to. That's where man management comes in. It's not only coaching now, drawing the tactics and spelling things out, but man management. You must be able to manage these players and get the best out of the squad, not just the team.
Yeah, but this momentum that Chelsea seems to have going for them now at this stage, crucial, yes, but are they going to go the whole hog? I mean, the FA Cup, they want to go ahead and make it top 4, and then Champions League. If they lose out in one, wouldn't it affect their psychological makeup?
I don't think so, because already in a season where everything seemed to have collapsed for the team, as we speak today, they are in the semi-final of the FA Cup. They are in the semi-final of the Champions League, nearly in the semi-final of the Champions League. That is quality. None of the first top 4 teams, as we speak today, got to this stage in the EPL. And, the last man standing for the entire English Premiership, coming into the semi-final of Champions League, even if they were to crash out in the 2 at this stage of the competition, semi-final, for me, they have been able to make a statement. Because in the season when everything seemed to have gone, horribly wrong, sacking of the coach, blah, 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 that you'll have expected, huge, distraction, they've been able to keep things together and qualify for the stages, for these semi-final stages of these huge competitions. It tells you that, and that's why when you hear the players, Peter Cech, John Terry, Frank Lampard, harping on one thing: experience. So experience counts. They know they've gone through these situations before. They know how to handle them. And they are proving everything to be right. So, and who says that if they were to be, because on 2 legs, who says Chelsea cannot beat Barcelona? Even if they were to beat Barcelona, it's surprising.
2 legs or 1 leg?
On 1 leg, on 2 legs, they can't. I'll give an example.
I thought the best chance was on 1 leg.
On 1 leg, no doubt, because if they had to play a draw on 1, they could beat them in the second. But if you look at it overall, even if they have to play 2 legs, these teams have met 10 times in Europe. And what has been the result? 3 wins for Chelsea, 3 wins for Barcelona, 4 draws. So people believe that it's been the other way around. No, unfortunately, that's not what the record shows.
No, but what are in terms of recent form?
In recent form, if you remember that we played in a draw, the last time we met, and then it was a 1-1 draw that got Barca in the extra last-minute goal that got Barca to qualify for the finals. People tend to forget all these things. Chelsea has never been mauled by Barcelona. In fact, the last time they got a big, huge score, it was 3-1. That was a long time ago, though. Figo was still with Barcelona. It was 3-1. Okay, at the start of the bridge, and 5-1 after extra time. That was when Barcelona. So it's been a keenly contested, duel, between these two. Yeah. So for me, overall, Chelsea has got a fairly good season. If they're able to break into the top 4, which is still possible, though 5 points is huge at this stage of competition, but it's possible. But more importantly, at least it shows that the competition in Europe is getting healthier by the day, and overall it's good for football.